Today we're gonna do this look. Super natural, quick, easy, for beginners, step by step. So I hope you enjoy. I wanted to go over fundamentals. I've had a lot of requests to do basic fundamentals with skincare, how I start my routine or what the best routine is for your skin, but just basic natural looking makeup for every single day if you have no experience putting it on. I'm going to explain everything step by step. I wanted to do today, I guess you can't really see it, but I've had some pimples breaking out because I want to show how to cover up some redness or my eczema I have right here. I'm using the Gold Bond Eczema Relief. I've tried the stuff with steroids where it just makes my skin thinner, and it works, but I prefer to use this because it has 2% colloidal oatmeal. I always get eczema right here. The Clean and Clear Dual Action Moisturizer, I love this for acne. It's amazing for acne. Typically I find I break out a lot more in the summer, but because I get some zits right here, I get them on my nose. I rub this in anywhere that I have my acne. And then next, and I know this is the Age Renew Crepe Corrector, and I know it's supposed to be like a body lotion, but again, I've been using brands like Gold Bond and Vaseline for years on my skin, and is all I've used. That and maybe like some oils on my skin as well, or The Ordinary, but I've kept it pretty basic. I find I've always had difficulties spending, you know, $50 on this tiny little container of, you know, skin cream, and then not really seeing it do anything all that spectacular for my skin. That's just my experience. I don't know if you've had some other experiences that where it was different for you, but so I use this, and then even pulling it down your neck, and then on your chest. Coppertone's Pure and Simple with zinc oxide. It is 24.0% zinc oxide. What I did is I took this, and I bought this from Shein, and it's a vacuum pump because I use it, I always put it on my hands too. If we kind of go like this, and then rub it all over your face. I've been wearing this sunblock for over 10 years, maybe 15 years. I'm not too sure. It's been a very long time I've been using this stuff. And again, like I say, I'm not trying to advertise for them at all. Actually, I think they might have discontinued this product. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, I religiously love this stuff. I find all the other ones where I've taken a look at the ingredients list, and then I've read up on how some of them are endocrine blockers and they play with your hormones, and I'm not so big on that. As far as I know anyways, this stuff is safe from my research, but again, my point being is just wear something with SPF. I recommend something with zinc oxide that's natural, but so as you can see, it absorbs into the skin quite nice. Don't forget your neck, so we don't want a turkey neck. Anywhere where the sun's gonna hit, I'm gonna put it. But the beauty of always wearing SPF 50, you know those fine wrinkles that we start to get, ladies, when we're either in our late 20s or early 30s, we start getting the super fine wrinkles around the eyes. Just put sunblock on every single day. It's going to prevent that, and you're going to look way younger by the time you hit 40, and you're just going to preserve yourself, which is what we want to do. I know a lot of ladies end up getting like laser or peels or whatever it is, trying to get the smoothness of their skin back. save yourself thousands of dollars. Just wear SPF 50 and make sure you moisturize. Okay, next thing's next. It's not necessary if you're a beginner. Yes, have your moisturizer, your SPF, but you don't need this. But if you have oily skin, or if you find that during the day that you've put foundation or anything else on and it's kind of moving around, this one is for pores. I have giant pores. When people see me in person, when I put foundation on, you can see the foundation sitting in all my giant pores. Or this one here, this one's from Maybelline. It's Baby Skin Pore Eraser. This one is Wet n Wild. It corrects redness. So let's do half and half today. Why not? We'll put this one on this side. And you don't need much, just like a pea size. And pull it down under your jawline. If it's the type, I don't think that this will help on the jawline, but if it's one of the ones that helps makeup stick, it's nice, because then when you do your contour right here, it works. Now, let's do this side with this one. Again, look how much I have on my finger. It's not too much. Your skin should be so well moisturized at this point. And what I do is, and this is what I do, is I wet this. It's a beauty blender. Wet it, and then make sure that you squeeze it out, and then take one towel dry and like squeeze it for, you know, about 20 seconds and then get all that excess moisture out. But still, even when you're going in with your moisturizer, if you think you put too much primer or moisturizer on, do this. And it'll help with the excess, and then it puts a little bit of product on, and then we just keep going with the blending. Next up, foundation. This is not necessary. You don't need to wear foundation. A lot of the time when I'm busy, I don't wear foundation. I just used concealer. Any concealer will work. This is, I think this is a medium coverage. I think this stuff is pretty buildable, but because it's in fashion to wear foundation, we're going to put some foundation on today. You can do this with your fingers. You can buy all these fancy brushes, you can, but you don't need it for foundation. Your fingers are fine. And you want to just take a little bit. It's supposed to be a sheer tint, especially if you're a beginner and this is just everyday makeup. We don't want cake face, we just want natural skin. And you want to make sure that this completely matches your skin. We don't want a mask up here and then have your neck be a different color. You always want to make sure that it's matching. And again, just doing my forehead. Look how much I have on my finger. Not much. And then blending it in with everything. And then going back in, if you want it to be super easy, just do the flat side. Taking away any harsh lines. For me, I used to put this on my neck, but then I got it all over my clothes, I found, but just as long as, like I say, make sure it matches. But other times I would recommend even putting it on your neck. Well, maybe I will today just for example purposes, but like so. Okay, next we're gonna do the concealer. This is what I do. Now we can do some color correcting here before we keep going. We have all the different colors. This one is from NYX, so it has all the different colors. Now, the other big thing, if you have acne, make sure that you can use a little bit of 99% rubbing alcohol to clean it off. You can put it on some tissue or just something and then wipe it down to make sure bacteria doesn't grow. So, for example, you can barely see it. I know it's very subtle, but it's putting it on. So if that's where my acne is, let's see where else I have it. You see how I have way too much product on? You just want to touch it on. You can even use a Q-tip, you can use a brush, but because we're gonna just talk about as easy as we can do all this stuff today. Go like that. Pat it. Now, for color correcting under here to get a little bit of purple I have, now we can use a little bit of the peach or we can use the yellow. I suggest getting a palette just like this. Find out what works for your skin. I'm gonna do peach right here, this side. And if you can see that. Now, wiping it off, just doing a little bit of the yellow. My nails are just too long here, so a little bit of the yellow. Like that. You use a little bit of the product and you work it in. The warmth of your hands kind of helps it melt in. Now, like this again. So you can see how much that covers it up. Now, I don't know if the camera can show, it actually looks pretty similar using the peach or the yellow for me. Now, going in with concealer. This is NYX's Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I went with the palest shade. It's pale, number 1. And what I'll do is go like this. Not the green spot there. Let's. This is just what I do. And we don't want too much product, but for me, I like using the concealer to shape. Quite often, I will skip foundation and go straight to this. It's just highlighting under the eyes, around the nose, and the chin. You can even just put a little bit of that concealer on the top of your lid to create a base. And then that redness that I have right here, just pulling that out. If I wanted to, I could go over this with like more either of like this, which is a bit of a color corrector, or I could go in with this if I want to go hardcore, but I really believe that you should just show what your natural flush is a little bit. You know, there's beauty to your natural skin too, right? But we just want to enhance that. That's the idea, so we want to enhance what we already have. So again, and we always want to start with a light layer because we can always come back and build on it. And there's other strategies for building it and having that perfect, if you want to go for that whole perfect makeup foundation, which I'll do another day, the little more complicated full coverage version, but okay. Next, I want to do some basic bronzer. Now this is the lightest shade from Milani in Sunlight. And I've used this right to the nub, but what I like about it is that it's cool toned, if you can see. Now another one by NYX is in taupe. This is cool toned versus this one here by Too Faced. This one is warm toned. So if you can see, it's actually really great mixing these two together during the summertime because you use this to contour and it looks great. It doesn't leave you orange. If you're pale like me, it depends on your skin tone. If you have a darker skin tone, maybe you can use this as contour, but you just kind of have to play with it, but it's good to have both. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go forward with this one here. Now I'm going to use a brush. I'm using this right here. It's a contour brush. But again, find a brush that works for you. What I like about this is it fits. So let's now suck your cheek in. That's probably a little bit low. I still want to fix that a little bit and kind of pull that up, but we want to have it like that. Now, other side. And when you use the product, tap it in once or twice and then go on, but if it's getting too heavy, because we want to turn this into a natural flush. Okay, now using the same brush, what I'll do is I'll just squeeze it, tap it in, squeeze the brush, do my nose. Same thing. Now, if you need to sharpen that up, take this, because we want it to have it be a thin little line. We want it to be like a line here, line here. We don't want this to come too far down. And if you screwed up, it's okay. Just use a little bit of concealer to shape it. So we have like an 11 and a tiny little line in the middle. Now, with a bigger brush. This is a big fluffy brush, but we're gonna use this, and we're also gonna use this here too, so I just wanna continue, and we're gonna do the jawline and just right under the bone. The bone is right here, under, and then you can feel how you have your bone right there. Just follow under the bone and shape around the bone. And you wanna make sure you get around that bone, like that. Same here. It's enhancing the whiteness right there. Right. Now what I'll do with this here, tap it in and blend all that in, all the way, and then pull it down like this. And this is why I don't really put foundation typically, is I like to contour my neckline and then pull it down and then it enhances. But for example, if you're showing your chest a little bit or anything like that, like you want to pull this down and pull it all the way down to your cleavage and shape the boobs. And then we have the collarbone as well. But then we can just come back up. Now again, now tap it in like this. You want to push it in. I did a few more hits right here because I'm getting my forehead. Now the trick is to make sure that we don't get like a white hairline. You want to push it into the hairline. I don't know if you can see that. But we don't also like want product building up in your hairline. You just want it to blend, be natural. like this. Next, we're gonna head towards our brows. This is translucent powder. This is RCMA. It's a giant tube full of it, but in any case, you can use any powder. I use this, so what I do is I tap it on, I get it covered on both sides. So it's covered like that at the moment, but we want as little product on there as possible. Now, you don't need to do this part. I do this because I have oily skin. If you don't have oily skin and you have dry skin, you don't need to do this part. You can just skip this step here. But anyways, okay. A little bit of product on there. I just wanna and then I take the other side and I'm patting it at the top where I'm gonna be putting the line. I'm trying to avoid this spot here. I don't want to put the powder there. I just want to put it above and just around. Now next, I'm going to use this white eyeshadow here. I usually wet my brush for this, but I'm just going to do it dry for the sake of it today. So dip it in. And as you can see, this is like a bit of an edged brush, like this. You can use any brush. Just keep that in mind. Keep your mind open when it comes to makeup. There's no rules. And like this. And really push it in, kind of mix it with that moisturizer. And you want to make sure it's blended. So when we have this white eyeshadow on here, we cannot see it. We can just see a hint of it enhancing. It looks natural. At no point should it ever be totally caked on. And if you do, just go back with the sponge like this, wipe it off. I've done it 1,000 times. You're gonna make mistakes while you're doing your makeup. Who cares? It's how you work through it. Now going on to brows, we have Universal Dark and Universal Light by Annabelle. And then I have another couple. This is brow sculpting. It's like brow mascara, and I have light brown and I have blonde. Now there's different ways to use this. If you're an absolute beginner, maybe just start with this. It's brow mascara. It just darkens it up. But you want to make sure you don't go too dark. I know that you've seen Angry Bird brows by going too dark. Let's not do that. Try to match it with your natural roots. For me, what I'll do, and we'll just start with this side. We'll start with the light color. And just comb through. It's very natural. Now I'll use the blonde, but then what I'll do is I'll go back in with the dark, just the soft brown shade. And now I'm kind of lining it and just pulling it up. Like that. And then you can even kind of line the bottom. Like that. So that's a pretty quick way to do your brows if you don't have time in the morning. That's pretty easy. But for me, I like to have a bit of a more bold look. Starting out with the blonder, the lighter color of the two. And you don't need the powder if you're doing this part, but you do, for me, I need it. With a spoolie, pull down your brows. And do lines. Little lines. Whatever you do, do not just draw a line. I've done that. I used to do that at one point, and then I looked in the mirror one day in better lighting, and I was like, holy crap, that does not look good. But if you see this, it looks like little lines. Now, with a spoolie, pull it up. Now we're going to do lines the opposite way and pull. Now I can just leave it like this, or I can keep doing a little bit more. And that's where I typically like to do a little bit more, but if you're a beginner, you could either just go like this, or you can go like this. I'm going to add a little bit more of the darker shade, because I want to enhance it. And I'm just going to pull it out. And kind of do the same thing I did with that darker brown shade. So even down here, where's your natural lash line, and stop it right there. So you can see it's easy to measure where you need to go. Same with this, it's like that. Now this is what I love to do. My personal preference, you don't need to do this, but I love this Brow Lift by e.l.f. It's this wax, but there's other products you can use. There's brow gels you can use too as well to kind of lift them, but I feel like this really completes your brows. I have a little bit there, and then pull it up. And this is also the moment that you know if you put too much powder on your eyebrow, because if you put too much powder on your eyebrow, you're going to see it right now. But I love having that feathered brow look. So this is just brow mascara, but this is being filled in. If I really want to go hardcore, I could do brow mascara after this and add that on, and then add this, and that, but that's probably a little more higher level. So this is the easiest. This is just a different look. I'm gonna fill in this eyebrow here too, just to make them even for this video. And I'll be right back. All right, I tried to even them out as much as possible. This is where we're at. Next, we're gonna do some eyeshadow. Today, just because I wanna do basics, we're gonna use a little bit of the contour, and we're gonna use some blush to do our eyeshadow, because I want this absolutely basic for you. Now, we only need a couple brushes here. I'm using 3 brushes to be specific. I'm using a big fluffy one. You can see this. Next, I'm using a slightly smaller brush for the crease, and then I'm going to use this one as the under eye brush. Using the contour, now we can use like a little bit of, sometimes we like to prime a little bit to make sure it goes on nice and smooth, because we do have all that sunblock on. If you see that. Now tap it off. And just wipe it down. And same thing the other side. Coat it and tap it. See how much is on there, and then blend that in. Nice and smooth. Now we're going to get underneath the eye. Now this is very tricky. The under eye powder, again, I put a little bit on. I'm going to tap it. You want the littlest amount of powder underneath your eyes to set the concealer. If you put too much powder on, it's actually going to crease easier because there's too much product and you're blocking your pores. Another way of doing this is if you want to like get a heavier look, and I learned this is more advanced, but you can actually you should put such a light layer of powder underneath your eyes to set it that you can put more concealer on without it caking. And that's how you know. But I don't really have such huge dark circles today that I'm trying to cover up anything. So it's okay, so we'll just keep going. Now, with the little brush here, I'm going to use the same contour. Again, make sure it's clean, just like that, just one touch. And start right under the eye and pull it out, and then, because we want to start the powder here where we want to dark it most and then blend it into the inner corner. We don't want to start with the powder right here. So again, right here, and then pull it into your inner corner. And we have the lightest, sheerest bit. Now, with the same fluffy brush, we're going to touch here. And now it should set nicely into your creases, and it should blend really nicely with a little bit of powder there. And like that. It depends on the formula you're using. Some might, you'll touch it and it'll get covered and it'll be kind of a, how would you say, lots of fallout, but it's still a creamy formula. But then there's some that are just kind of packed like this. You just have to touch it once and go like this. You can't even tell that you have eyeshadow on when we do it like this because it's so light. There's just a natural shadow around your eyes, enhancing your natural beauty. All of this looks pretty natural so far, and we want to enhance your natural features. We don't want to cover them, enhance them just a little bit, because you don't want to see any lines on your eyeshadow. If you see lines, like, it depends if you're doing like a heavy look, you know, where in my other videos you see how I kind of do cut creases and everything like that. But if you're a beginner and we're just starting out, just go like this. Enhance your natural beauty. This is for every day. This is for when you're getting ready for school or work and you just want to bring your natural beauty and you don't have a ton of time to do your makeup. This is the best thing that you can do because she's natural, pretty, you know, easy. Now, going in with a blush, I'm using a slightly angled blush brush. This is my preference, but use what works for you. Again, this is Luminoso from Milani. This is a universally flattering shade. Pat it, tap it. I find it generally, you can see it on there, and just, now, again, however you want to put your blush on, but we want to put it, this is the contour, and we just want it slightly above. So I like to pull it back first and then bring it forward. And pull it right up into the hairline. Make sure there's nothing. We'll do the other side and pat, pat. Now where do we start? I like to start like right underneath the cheekbone, right here. Pull it all the way back and then pull it forward like this. Sometimes I like to just add a little extra color to the tip of my nose to blend in, but with 2 touches of this is what you get. But even going a step further, because we want this natural, we take this sponge pat it, just bounce it on your skin. Now we have the natural flush. Now using the medium-sized blending brush, touch, tap, remove any cat hairs that may be attached, and then now looking, where do we want to put this? We want to stamp this. My crease is right here. I've got like a little bit of hooding, which is fine. Everyone has it, or a good chunk of people do anyways. I'm starting on the just above my crease, like that. Again, tap. So outside of your eye right there, and pull up and over. And notice how I'm patting it in, but when I get to the corner, blend, blend, blend. Again, every corner, pat it, and then bring it over like that. Touch again, because we're going to build it up a little more. Pat. And then in. So we can take a look how my crease is right here. We're just above the crease. Getting super technical for you ladies and gentlemen today. Like this. Now, if you don't have time to do this extra step, that's fine. A lot of days I don't have time. Well, actually, I should mention this too. What I'll do typically is I'll take the bigger blending brush after I'm done with all that and just blend it even more to make sure it's sheer. So don't forget that step. But in any case, going back, we're going to do it the same thing under the eyes. It's just pat. Start in the middle of the eye, right, and then pull it up, and then to the front. Middle of the eye, pull it up, just like that. Perfect. Now, I want to do a little bit of shimmer, just because it looks so pretty. I'm using Moon Dust in Cosmic from Urban Decay. But you can use a highlighter, you can use some other white blush, you can use a little bit of sparkles, whatever you want to do. Now, what I do with this stuff, I just find it works better, is I just have an empty old tray, add a little bit of water, like this. Now we're going to take a paddle brush like this. You can see, just dab it in the water, squeeze it out. Now with this, I find with this formula, I have to kind of swirl it a bit to get it on. This is the only time where you'll see me kind of cake up the brush a little bit. Sometimes it's when I'm putting on like shimmery stuff. But if you can see, I have it on like that. It's slightly wet. Now we're just going to do our eyelids. And you pat it on. Just one side of the brush. Just pat on one side of the brush. Okay? Now with the other side of the brush, where there's product, pat it on, start in the middle of the eye, and pull it towards the corners. Now we can go back in one more time. Do both sides like that. It's still a little bit wet. And we're going to go back here. And put it, this is my inner crease, and just pat, pat, pat. And follow the natural hollow of your eye, and then pat it in. It should not be caking right now. Now other side. I want to pull it up here and just follow my natural crease. So I'm kind of doing like a bit of a shimmery cut crease right now. Like this. Now if we want to go a little further, just do a little teeny bit like this. And like this. If you want to pull it down a little bit further, you can do that. Now remember, you have barely any product on your brush right now. Barely any product. But it's just enough to pull it over top of the under eye shadow right here and right here. See, look how natural this is right now. Very natural, very pretty. Perfect. Eyelash curler. Make sure it's nice and clean. And we're just gonna curl And you can hold it for between 20 to 45 seconds on each eye. Same with this one. I already pre-curled my lashes a little bit prior to this video just to save us a bit of time, because I'm getting pretty technical today. We're gonna go in with mascara. Your eyelashes should be nice and curled right now. We don't need primer, but we're gonna do primer. There's a little bit of a lash growth serum in this, which is what I like. It's a black primer, so again, I'm gonna start going downwards like this, just touching the tops of my lashes. Now, pull up. And wiggle it at the base. And pull up. Wiggle, pull up. Now, as an option, I use a lash comb. You can get these, they're like $2. I suggest you get one. And I'm just gonna comb my lashes now. And if you're getting any product up here right now, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. We'll come back and we can always clean that up. But for me, it's because I have trying to like get it so they don't clump. And I'm just coating. Now again, go to the other side. Again, wiggle it on top of the lash. Wiggle on top of the lash and then under. And it's not gonna be perfect. Makeup's never like totally 100% perfect, but we're just aiming for as blended as we can be. That actually went on quite nicely. And I'm gonna do a little bit on the bottom lashes. Just touch near the root. All you have to do is touch like this. And it's nice when we don't have a ton of product on it, like we haven't just freshly dipped it. And I'm glad this side is kind of giving me a few problems so then we can work through it together. And I like to kind of go pull up like that. Things again, basic today. Normally I like to do a cocktail and I'll mix the two, maybe we'll do that. But you don't need to do this. Again, this is just me being crazy and obsessed. Now, with actual black mascara, I'm using Lash Sensational, so this is not just primer. I'm just gonna pull up right from the roots. I'm gonna touch on top too as well. Like this. Now with the lash comb, and this is me being a bit of a perfectionist. You don't need to do this. But if you want to look as natural as possible, I love lash combs. So like this. And the same thing, we're going to go over the other eye. Touch on top, and then wiggle, pull up. Now I'm getting a bit of mascara up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my big fluffy brush and just and then it's taken care of. Now going back. Touch the bottoms a bit. And here I'm just trying to get the bottoms of the lashes because I already have the roots quite nicely. So like so. So next we're gonna finish off with lips. Now we can just leave it like this and we can do some lip gloss. The one I'm using is Wifey for Lifey by Too Faced, but you can use any gloss. Use any tinted gloss, use a nude, a red, a pink, whatever you're attracted to. And so I'll just put it on my lips. I like kind of pulling on my Cupid's bow and then you can just go like this. This is perfect. Very natural, enhancing all your features. You don't need too much. Or if we want to go the extra step, I dabbed off the lip gloss a little bit with some paper towel. Oh, has a little bit of everything on there today. But so right now, I love how my lips are nice and moist from using the lip gloss, so it makes it a really great time to put on my lip liner. I'm using Cold Brew by NYX, which is, I think you see me use it in every single one of my videos. My lips are not too glossy right now to put on the product, but they're just sticky and moist. So now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do the line, the Cupid's bow. I always say start with the Cupid's bow. So the line here, and here. Where's your highest point of your lip? It's right here and right there. So I overline right here and right here. Now for the rest of it, follow your vermilion border. Now my lips are tattooed, so she went over a little bit when she did the tattoo, so it's not as clear and concise on my lips as it's going to be with someone without a lip tattoo. But here's the peak of my lip right here, and pull down. Same with the bottom part of your lip. So now you're gonna add lipstick if you want, or you can just go like this. And what I like to do is just line my lips, use a tinted lip gloss, and this is all you need. This enhances your natural beauty. If we want to add a little bit of highlighter, I'm using an angled brush, but you can use any kind of fluffy brush if you want as well. Dip it in the water, squeeze it out, and I'm using this Maybelline Master Holographic. It's a highlighter in white by Maybelline. I like to kind of dip it and swirl it in, and then here we go, touching it, just patting it in very lightly, just feeling how it goes on. And we're going all over the bone here. If it starts to cake and it's like a little bit dry, add more water to your brush. And highlighting your nose. Cupid's bow. This is the final look. You don't need too much makeup. We're accentuating natural beauty. So I hope you like it. Please let me know if you guys have any further requests, any more detailed breakdowns on how I did this. And please subscribe.